So I'm joined by the Chief Minister on our Friday briefing. Europe and Brexit is still on your press release thing. I mean, the repeal bill through the UK and the implications for the Isle of Man. So let's just deal with this. How big a deal is it going to be for the Isle of Man? Have you got to mirror everything they do, surely?
Well, yes and no. They've got 20,000 instruments they think they're going to have to amend. We, because of our limited relationship with the European Union, we don't have anywhere near as many. We still have a few thousand we'll have to amend, but we've been working on this since last summer, and we intend to have a repeal bill in Tynwald by the end of this year.
So you've got to go through all your legislation this end to see what's...
The relevant, we've had to check all, because it's not just EU rules, it's EU institutions that are mentioned. So, but as I say, we're on top of it. We knew it was happening, and we've been working hard at it to ensure that we're on track. So I would hope to have the island's own repeal bill.
The Great Repeal Bill? Sort of
yeah, well, you want to call that the Great Repeal Bill by the end of this year. But then going forward, there will be, a number of, as changes, it could be on customs union or immigration, there will be further changes down the road, and we'll just have to follow that as it goes along.
How's your easy jetting to London going at the moment, or to City? Are you still on that plane meeting people at the moment? Has things settled down since the change of the government?
I've just come back. I was there this week having meetings. It's got to happen. It's a tough time, because you've got the day-to-day running on the Isle of Man, which you can't take your eye off, but equally the damage that can happen to the Isle of Man if you're not up to speed, and that people don't know the Isle of Man's position could be considerable. So you've got to get out there and meet the right people.
People watching this might think you've got less vigour this week. You normally quite jolly about the subject. You seem to be weighed down by it now almost.
Paul, I've just done 3 days of pounding the streets and corridors of Westminster and London. I let it go. You're off the plane. It's pretty tiring. But no, I am. I'm just a little bit tired, I suppose. You caught me on a tired day, Paul. Long hours.
Summer's coming.
Yeah.
Oh, you taking a long holiday?
I wish. I'm not Paul Moulton,
Funny. Okay. The Chief Constable's made his report. Ready for Tynwald.
Yeah.
And what did you think to it?
Well, obviously, it's disappointing that there's been a slight increase in the crime figures. That said, they're still the third best since, I think, the 70s. So we've got a low crime rate on the Isle of Man. There are areas where I share his concerns. The increase of arrests with people possessing cannabis is one area. When I was Health and Social Care Minister, I implemented with the rest of the team a full review of our drug and alcohol strategy. It's chaired by Mike Coleman, MLC, and I'm expecting them to be coming up with a report in the near future. So it'll be interesting to see what conclusions they've come to.
The past holder of your position had mooted about the sort of decriminalisation of cannabis and that sort of thing. Have you got views? I mean, I was pushing him on it. Obviously, he has to do. He says what he's told by the government. Do you see that this is clogging the system and is sort of, when you get those headlines of 0.001 gram or something, and the cost it takes to get that through the court? What's your views?
Well, I think I don't want to preempt, Paul, the review that comes out.
What's your view on it?
Well, I don't approve of cannabis for medicinal purposes. I'm more than happy to support that.
Medical cannabis, so you buy on a prescription.
On a prescription from a doctor to help you get over pain. And I think there are improvements there where the damaging parts of cannabis have been taken out, and it's there just to help the person with the relevant condition. But it's still a gateway drug, and in my capacity as Health and Social Care Minister, I have sadly seen young people with damaged brains as a result of cannabis abuse.
You could say just taking a painkiller can lead you to addiction. I mean,
well, yes, but
anything can.
Well, it is, but it's also a gateway drug, Paul. Where sadly, dealers aren't the nicest type of people. They're going to mix in other drugs sometimes with the cannabis to get their clients hooked on a heavier drug. So it's getting that balance. I don't want to preempt.
No, but what else did you not like in what you read in that report from the Chief Constable?
Well, I suppose there was various comments on being weighed down by the financial crime, and yet what wasn't mentioned was the fact that the Isle of Man government had, we as government had already seen that. We'd done our own internal review of as you should always look at yourself from time to time and say, where can we improve? And we realised that we needed to improve the financial crime area investigation on the Isle of Man, and as a result we have put in extra money into the police budget going forward, so they are receiving money for a new financial crimes unit, which is, I think, the head of it's being advertised as we speak, and that's being fully funded from new money for the police force, not out of existing budgets.
Which he probably didn't make that clear, did he?
He didn't make that clear at all, and that was a little bit disappointing, because the way the impression was, he was having to cut his budget to provide more of the service, whereas in fact the government had recognised that there was a problem and had found the money to give for the financial crime unit.
Okay, well, that's going to Tynwald, isn't it? So a debate is ahead of us on that.
Well, the report will be, and I think that will be pointed out that, you know, we are not cutting. Yes, I respect him for fighting his corner for his team in the police force, and we all respect the hard work that they do. But you know, we as governments have got to live within the budget we've got. But we have found extra funds for the additional elements that he was talking about. But I get that his budget is hard pressed, and as are all, you know, police forces throughout the world.
I didn't catch you last week when the team came back from Scotland, but I know that sort of thing. But you must be pretty chuffed with the way we all did, hey? I
was absolutely delighted. I went down to see them at the airport, and I had my own cousin won a gold, silver and bronze, so well done, Kaz. And along with friends, children who won. So yeah, it makes you proud. That's one of the nice things about being Chief Minister, is when our people do well. And you know, that was a record. We never got that number of medals before.
Yeah, and coming top like that was great. Obviously, Graham Virginia was in an interview with me saying that he wants the Island Games here. You obviously have that discussion. You see it as a good idea to bring the Island Games back here at some point in the 2020s?
Yeah, well, I think 2025, for example, it's 40 years. We held the first one, so wouldn't it be nice maybe to get it 2025 or 27? We'll just have to see, but I think Council of Ministers will be committing to supporting it happening again on the Isle of Man.
Okay. Well, one thing I think we were waiting for our luggage about 20 odd minutes or maybe 30. It seemed like forever. And recently, I've had lots of. Is this anything to do with the change from public to private? Why the luggage appears, not maybe all the time, but certainly sometimes now it takes longer. And the state of the airport, the cleanliness. It's because you've got so much time to look around.
Right.
It's the gateway to the Isle of Man, isn't it? And it should in the middle of the racks and everything, the grime, the dirt. We've got pictures of it. Isn't that important to have a good, fit-for-purpose entry point to the Isle of Man?
Well, it is. I mean, I could say I don't do anywhere near the travelling that you do, Paul.
Oh, behave. You do some day trips. You probably don't wait for luggage.
So I'm away for a couple of days, but I have to travel light because we're rushing around. We don't have the luxuries. Well, I haven't travelled with a case for a while because I don't get much chance to do that. But the last time I did, yes, I had to wait, and that was before we transferred the running of the baggage handlers. So, but now that you've raised it, Paul, I will have a word on Minister Harmer, and I will have a word on, I don't know whether it's Mr Perkins or Mr Baker, who have responsibility for the airport.
I mean, it wasn't just me; it was people's other comments as well. But
I mean, as I say, when I'm travelling, you're rushing there, you're straight off the plane, and you're in your car to get home. It's sort of 9 o'clock at night, sort of thing. I'll have a look myself next time and stop and look to see whether it's just you being fussy or whether it is the case.
Well, we always offer people the chance of sending questions, so that was, I think, was one that came through to me on that one. But everything else okay? I mean, summer holidays are coming up. Last Tynwald. Do we see this big shutdown, this legendary shutdown?
Yeah, I wish. All that happens is that my Tuesdays get filled in with meetings instead of being kept free for Keys or Tynwald.
Do you think it is a bit old-fashioned to have such a break anyway? I mean, in the sense of actually, having a chance to have a Tynwald and Keys and things.
Well, you've got to have some break.
Can seem excessive, I think.
My last family holiday was July for a week.
Yeah, but
last year
you got August, September, then back in October, is it? So it's 2 months.
So I know I'm trying to take a 2-week break if I can, but it's business as usual. I've got meetings lined up, diary's full, so you just crack on. But I have taken 2 weeks in that period, and day-to-day general government work just doesn't stop. Yes, you might not have your meetings every Tuesday for Keys or Tynwald, but life, we don't suddenly say, nothing's going to happen in the police force or the fire brigade or the roads or problems. Life goes on.
And Brexit goes on.
And Brexit goes on, yeah. I've just, as I say, I've been a couple of days down in London on that. I've got, you'll be finding out of people visiting the island fairly soon that I've got to, look after, and that's all to do with our...
Was Tynwald Day full of them? I couldn't make it, but I mean, do you have a lot of MPs again this year?
We had a certain amount of MPs, and we had an MP, well, an ex-MP who'd asked questions on behalf of the Isle of Man. Sadly, he lost his seat.
Was that one interviewed? Was that Scottish?
Yeah, Richard Arkless.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
A lovely guy, yeah. And big supporter of the Isle of Man. So, it's trying to... We've got to be strategic. We're a small island. We're dealing with Brexit with a bigger country of 65 million, and it's all about having good working relationships and ensuring that key people understand the island's position and appreciate what the Isle of Man does as part of its offering to the UK.
We were talking about loads. Well, the fisheries, we could talk about that. I mean, it's just an ongoing thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is. Do you see it happening on time, by the way?
No, absolutely. No, you've got immigration, you've got freedom of movement of manufactured goods, farm products, fishing. 90% of our king scallop, queen scallop, queenies sold into France, Italy, Spain. We've got this all the time. I'll have British Irish Council meetings. It's a never-ending story, and that's life. That's my job. I've got to get on with it, haven't I? That's what I signed up to do. I'm not complaining. It's very interesting, but it's very time-consuming. But Brexit is an additional dimension that maybe predecessors haven't had to deal with.